Hey everybody, this is David Skarica. So we're going to do a stock chart of the day. It's going to be a little different today. Actually, one of my subscribers gave me the idea because yesterday there was an election in Argentina. Um and Of course there's this very, I don't even want to say extreme. Look, I agree with most of what the guy says. You can think of what you want of me for doing that, but I'm like a hardcore libertarian when it comes to economics and politics. And I'm sick of all these governments screwing everything up because that's all they've been doing. And if anyone knows the history of Argentina, is after World War II, when Europe was bombed out and a lot of Asia was bombed out, the third richest country in the world on GDP per capita was Argentina. It was US, Canada, and Argentina. So, and then the Perones came in. They've had, dictatorships and socialists and hyperinflation. And so this guy's basically said, enough is enough. I'm going to slash and burn the government and open everything up. So he got 30% of the vote in the runoff. The moderate, I guess the so-called moderate, this is where the press talks, got 36%. And then the moderate right guy got 23%. So if you take his, 30 plus the moderate right guys, 23, that's 53. So will he get all of that? I don't know. So it's going to be a close runoff because I'm sure some of those moderate rights will go to the centrist, slightly left guy. So, but I think if Argentina really wants to change, this is the kind of thing it needs. So, and of course, everyone in the media, press, everybody's against him, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is the Argentina ETF. The reason I'm telling people not to buy, though, even though he would be obviously market friendly, it's just hasn't gone down enough. Like, it's not cheap. You can see it's since the COVID lows, it's gone from, about $12 a share to like 38. It was down quite a bit today. It was down over 2% today. And actually the Argentina market, the MERV, which we'll look at right now, was down 11% today. But again, look at this huge run we've had. So part of this recent run into this is because hoping that this guy would win. And now that it looks like the runoff's going to be close, you can see the MERV was down. So I just can't recommend buying Argentina stocks. Now, granted, a lot of this run up too is because Argentina has hyperinflation and stocks go up during hyperinflation. So we have to take that into account as well. So we look at, TO, this is a stock I've always talked about in the past. Now, this hasn't done that much, but, it was flat today, basically. This is the telecom company, which went to like 25 cents during the, we'll get a longer term chart to show you, during the currency crash in the early 2000s. And then now, you can see it here, and went as high as like $30 and now it's $5. So, like, the issue I have right now with Argentina stocks too is that the S&P kind of sold off at the end of the day today. So the Dow, we're below the 200-day moving averages. We're still in October, like I've been talking about. If we continue to see a sell-off in the markets for the next few weeks, obviously they're going to fall too. So I think this is the kind of trade, if you want to hope this guy wins, this kind of trade, you're going to want to be in ahead of it. Another thing that he wants to do is he essentially wants to link the currency to the US dollar, or say enough of this peso, because it's always being devalued and hyperinflated. So, or you can get the currency of your choice. And of course, Argentina being in the Americas would probably choose the dollar, not the euro or yen or yuan or something like of that nature. And definitely probably not another South American currency, the Chilean peso or Brazilian real or something, So anyhow, so I don't think we're quite there yet, but it will be interesting to see what happens. And I think that we are seeing a revolt towards all these kind of heavy-handed governments. We're going to see that now because of the things that were implemented during COVID, the high taxes we pay here in the West. And Argentina has been a socialist basket case now for 60 years. So maybe the kind of first place that, had this kind of destroy their economy. And what kills me about the guy who won it, they call him a Peronist. Anyone who votes for the Perones in Argentina is a nutson, because they're the ones who really started the destruction of the Argentinian economy, right? So it's just, I don't know, I guess people have a nostalgia. I'm Canada, and, the first Trudeau was horrible. We've elected the second Trudeau. So, I guess people have nostalgia for whatever, But anyhow, I think some of these stocks are worth looking at. Maybe I'll do in my members section, maybe a more detailed in the next few weeks before the election, because these stocks are cheap. Like if we go to look at TO in Yahoo Finance, you're going to see it pays a pretty good dividend and it's cheap. It's got negative earnings, but yeah, it pays a 3.5% dividend, not out of this world, but pretty good. And there's a lot of Argentinian stocks. This is one I've looked at in the past too. That this is a financial company there. Again, 5% dividend, 12 PDE. We go look at that. So I can see, again, this huge run up. A lot of these Argentine stocks ran up a few years ago. So it's gone from, $60 or $70 to 11. So it's, again, maybe it could fall a bit more if into the election. So, but like they do look enticing. And of course, he could start like some positive economic, domestic policies. And of course, we own some mining stocks in Argentina now. Mining has never really been affected by the hyperinflation in Argentina, because Argentina is kind of similar to Canada and the States in that the states or the provinces or whatever you want to call it have their own mining policy. So the federal government, as backward it's been in Argentina over the year, hasn't been able to really put the hammer down on mining. Even though they've had these socialist governments, the socialist governments would love to have their hand in the cookie jar, right, on some of those mining revenues and products. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this video. A little different today. Today we looked at Argentinian stocks in light of the election, et cetera, et cetera. So, a lot of these stock charts of the days, we don't mean to give you, trades and the whatnot. We're just giving you educational stuff, and we're just showing you that, the Argentinian market and ETF don't look cheap enough yet. Some of these stocks are cheap, but they're not quite where I would like to buy it. So I'd like to see what happens. Now, like I said, and because the S&P we'll talk about the markets maybe this week, and the United States markets are showing signs of rolling over. We all know that if the Western markets roll over and emerging markets roll over, Argentina is going to get taken down on that, regardless of what happens in this election over the next few weeks. And I warn people, when people really like Bolsonaro in Brazil, thinking again, he was pro-free market, he was a conservative, he was like the Brazilian Trump. And I said, look, at the market's not cheap there. And market did nothing under Bolsonaro. So you have to look at those kind of factors, not just politics, So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on October 24th.